Hello, so in this video I'm going to talk about the significance of seeing repeating numbers. This was something that that was brought into my awareness when I started seeing repeating numbers probably about 7 years ago, as I was starting to wake up. And I've had a couple of people that have mentioned to me that they've started to see repeating numbers, and this week I was thinking, it came into my consciousness that I was to do a video about this. And just as the universe is synchronistic and always shows you that it is communicating with you, last night I got a message from a client saying exactly that, asking me, saying she's starting to see repeating numbers a lot, 111, 11, 11. And whilst there's lots of videos online about what these numbers mean, they are very generic, and she wanted to know how she could really access the answers that these numbers were trying to tell her. So it is true that you can go online and you can find loads of videos that talk about the different meanings behind repeating numbers, because numerology, numbers carry frequency and they carry codes. They deliver energy packages. They are activations. They are codices to memories that are within the DNA of every living human or starseed. So when it comes to looking at those generic meanings, well, obviously you can do that. And when I first started seeing repeating numbers, and was curious about what it meant, I knew it was beyond coincidence, and you will know it's beyond coincidence when the universe is communicating with you through repeating numbers, because of how many times you see them and where you see them. You'll see them on number plates, you'll see them on the clock, you'll see them on till receipts, you'll see them on billboards, on houses. You'll just start to see them everywhere, and you start to realize that you are being communicated with. And that is one of the ways that the universe, that is a part of us, so we are a part of the universe, so it's a way of the universe and our higher selves, and there'll be a video linked about higher self, that is trying to communicate with us through the language of numbers, which, like I say, numbers are codes. They are activations. The universe is a mathematical equation, a frequency. It is geometry. It is symbology. It is colour, vibration, frequency, numerology, symbology, and that's how it communicates with us. So we have a language, an English language that we speak words with, or whatever your native language is, but that is not the language of the universe. The universal language is light language, and we all know how to decode light language. It's just been dormant within our DNA, memory, cellular matrix. But right now, especially if you are starting to see numbers, once you start to see repeating numbers, what you are being told, beyond any personal meaning to that number, is you are being shown that you are ascending in consciousness. You are starting to wake up from the illusion of the 3D matrix that would have you believe you are nothing but a meat body. You are starting to open up to multi-dimensional thinking. You are starting to align with your soul path, your alignment. And often we might start seeing repeating numbers when we've gone through a crisis, like a relationship breakup. That's when I started seeing repeating numbers, and it wasn't the breakup itself, it was the ripple of the breakup that caused me to go inwards and start really questioning who I was, why I was feeling this way, what was driving those feelings of pain and discomfort. And it was in that inward journey, which is why I say often through crisis is when we start to awaken in consciousness, start to expand our consciousness, start to realize that we are energetic beings, spiritual beings having a human existence. We are both human and non-human simultaneously at the same time. And as we're starting to see repeating numbers, it's a sign that we're starting to awaken. We're starting to move past the veil of illusion. So it doesn't matter what number you are seeing. So 1111 is one of the master numbers, and 1111 itself, from my knowings, from how I interpret 1111, and from other information that's flown into my consciousness since I started seeing codes 1111, is that it is part of the Fibonacci sequence. And the Fibonacci sequence is a mathematical equation which I do not understand, but it is a mathematical equation. It is a golden ratio that runs through nature. It runs through all of nature. It's the spiral sequence, the fabric of creation, the plasma light that is the molding electrical photonic light energy packets that create creation, that create matter from antimatter, from the ethereal realms. So the 1111, so imagine a spiral going up and a spiral going down. So both these spirals, they're wider at the top, so it's wider at the bottom, it's wider at the top, and they come into a point here. And this point here is the 0 point field. Now I'm going to do a video on the 0 point field. I'm just not ready to do that video yet. But the 0 point field is basically the point of creation as we enter the 0 point field, when we are in our full presence, when we are in the now moment, and we go into the 0 point field, when our energy isn't in the past, in the future, it's here in the center point. We access the nothing, but it's not nothing, it's not nothing, it's not empty, it's full, it's alive with the fabric of creation, where everything births from the 0 point. So the Fibonacci sequence, the spiral that goes down and the spiral that meets in the middle, meets at the 0 point field, and just above the numbers are 1 1, and just below the numbers are 1 1. So it's the gateway. I see the 1111 as an indication that you are moving into ascension, into the 0 point field. You are on the right path. So whatever you are doing, keep doing it. Whatever's coming to you in terms of, if you've got some ideas about what you want to do in the future, if something's coming up for you, but your mind with fear is trying to talk you out of it through limitations of the mind, then the 1111 is a sign that you are on the right path, and you should follow the guidance that is coming from the heart space. So seeing repeating numbers, whether it's 1111, 111, many people that have talked to me about repeating numbers seem to start at the 111, and that's exactly the number that I started seeing initially when I realised, well, I didn't realise at the start I was awakening. I started seeing the 111, and then it was the 1111, and then it moved on to seeing 222, 444, 333, lots of repeating numbers, but always still seeing the 1111. That's something that I see constantly. So when you do see these numbers, if you want to know more what they mean, obviously I've let you know there that overall you are being communicated from the universe, and it is letting you know that you are on the right path, that you are awakening, you are moving into the 0 point of creation. But it is also activating the numbers themselves carry code. So we can see those numbers, and we don't necessarily get an instant communication in the mind that says this means da 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 da. It doesn't work like that, but it's symbolic. It's a symbol to the DNA that is within us and around us. We have ethereal DNA as well as physical DNA within the body, and the DNA is receptors, transmitters, and it is the holder of memory. It's a holder of everything that was, ever will be, ever is. It holds all of our memory. And as we see those numbers, it activates. It's an activation. It's a code that unlocks information within the DNA. So as you start seeing those numbers as well, what you're going to find is, you're going to find that your life becomes even more synchronistic. So when you see those numbers, it's really good just to smile at the numbers, just feel comforted by those numbers and know that it is awakening memories and information that will guide you on your destined path. So you might not get all the answers instantly, but that's okay. You don't need to, because that's not how the universe often communicates to us. However, what you can do when you do see one of the numbers, you can just take a moment to just remember what you were thinking of prior to that number, and that may be an indication as to a specific personal message that it's trying to tell you. However, don't get hung up on knowing the answers logically, because we can get stuck in the analytical mind, and it's not that you can't analyze it, but if we get stuck there, we miss the truth of what these numbers are doing. These numbers are talking to us energetically. It's light language. It's numerological, numeral, it's alphabetical, it's sound, it's frequency, it's geometric shapes and colours and vibrations, and it's primordial sound, and it's actually activating DNA. And what that's going to do is it's going to give us impulses, it's going to give us ideas, it's going to connect us and make us move a little bit to the left or the right, so that we run into that person that we need to run into, so that we hear that piece of information, so we see that book, so we see that video. It's just you will be guided. So know that when you see those signs, you don't need to understand fully what it is, just understand that you are being guided, and you will be guided. And the most important thing that you can do, where as you are awakening, this is what I have discovered, the most important thing we can do as we are awakening, to really embrace the awakening and the ascension, to really step into alignment, is to know that from the physical perspective, the human perspective, which is only part of who we are, we have a higher self, a higher perspective. But from the human perspective, what we can control is looking after the vessel, looking after the divine technology that we have been gifted to experience ourselves in this now moment as an expression of divinity, as an expression of source. So if we keep our body in balance by, it's really basic things. And again, I'll link another video to watch about how to really look after the self, so that you can become an open channel for this information, for this guidance, for these activations to come up without resistance, to come up easily, for you to then be guided by your own light, your own inner knowings. So hopefully that gives you some context, something to integrate in terms of the numbers, to know that yes, to answer that question that my client asked me, which was any tips on how I can access the real answers. Well, it's to allow the answers to come to you. Don't force them. Just know that when you see them, you're being activated, you're getting light codes of information, you're getting language of light, which is energy, not words, not English language. Just know you're being activated. Just be willing to accept those activations with gratitude, with curiosity. Don't force the answers to come. Understand that you are energy, and when we push something. When we try to force, actually, if you watch the video about how to getting back to the basics and looking after the self, you'll see how when you focus on those things, the answers will just start to flow into your mind automatically. You'll be out walking in the woods, boom, here comes an idea from source. You will be impulse to go somewhere at a certain time, boom, you're running into your destiny. That is how the answers come. So don't force it. Sit in your feminine, divine feminine energy of receptivity, of magnetizing everything you need into your reality.